Last month, I was wondering how I might preach about intuition to a rational, logical, scientific Unitarian Universalist. And then came the coronavirus. And all my bandwidth went to figuring out how to cope with a world changed by a pandemic. I thought, how could I talk about intuition when so many people are in tangible need of support, caring, understanding? When people are feeling disconnected from one another, not even able to touch another person, feeling food or toilet paper insecurity, concerned about access to medicine and health care. And there's so much information coming out about the virus and so much misinformation coming out. How do we sort it all out? And yet I thought intuition can be a useful tool in our toolbox in coping with all this. Webster defines intuition as the ability to understand immediately something without need of conscious reasoning. Intuition is that gut feeling we get about a situation or a decision that we make. It's not about something we think through logically. It's just there. It's this in your face, in your gut feeling that you have. We're in a situation that your unconscious reads the situation and gives you some information. For instance, you're on a walk and you come to a busy intersection and you see a driver in the lane next to you. They're looking left and you're on their right, but you also notice the blinker is turning right where you are. Without even any consideration, without thinking that through, there is a part of you that says, wait, this person may not know what's going on. They may not know that I'm here. It may not be safe. And that's not logically thought through. It is just an immediate feeling that you have, that your intuition has. Wait, it says. Wait. Intuition can be negative, positive, neutral. I've heard people say that they're in tune with their intuition, that they trust the vibes that they get, that immediate sensation or feeling that something is going on in a situation. For instance, when they're going out on a date, unconsciously they may be reading that person's body language, but this immediate feeling that they get is not thought through, and they might feel uneasy about that person they're on a date with. Or people make decisions like what to invest in at a given time without necessarily thinking it through, just looking at it and saying, oh, this feels right to me. I'll invest in toilet paper right now. For me, I have kind of mixed feeling about trusting my gut. Sometimes these immediate understandings or reading of a situation can be helpful. For instance, several years ago, I made a decision to apply for a job that my friend had told me about. Now, she had told me about this job in confidence because she was in line for this job. But the moment I applied for the job, my gut said it was the wrong thing to do. And my gut wouldn't let me go. It kept telling me again and again it was the wrong thing to do. Eventually, I listened to it. I withdrew my application, told my friend about how I felt bad about applying for this job that she really wanted. It was really important to her. She forgave me, and we're still friends. But paying attention to my gut in that situation helped me maintain a friendship. It helped me understand, not necessarily because I thought it through, that getting a certain job wasn't as important as being able to be consistent with my relationship and caring in my relationship with my friend and living my values and my Unitarian Universalist principles. But it wasn't something I thought through, it's something I just felt in the moment. But here's the thing, sometimes that feeling you get in the moment, at least for me, this gut feeling, isn't always accurate. Sometimes I've found that it's based on prejudice, on bias, on racism, even on fear, irrational fear. For instance, not too long ago, I was living in Chicago, and I was walking downtown. It was late evening, and I see this large African-American man walking toward me. My intuition tells me this is a dangerous situation. Go on the other side of the street. Avoid this person at all costs. This is dangerous. It was right there in my face. But nothing happened. It wasn't a dangerous situation. It was childhood conditioning and a message that had been given to me since very early on about our white supremacy culture. This prejudice, this bias that I felt in my gut was not intuition. That's different from intuition, but in order for me to know that, I have to step back from it and realize this is something else. So not every time I feel that feeling in my gut do I say, oh, this is the thing I need to do. I have to step back. And this is true, I think, now in this time of coronavirus. Because my gut is giving me all kinds of mixed messages. Sometimes it tells me not to worry about touching someone else's cell phone, or touching my mail, or a box I receive on my front porch from UPS or wherever. At other times, when I sway too close to someone in the grocery store, it's like my spider senses go off, and I feel this is a horrible, bad, awful, terrible situation, and I have to do everything I can to get out of it. I went to the grocery store the other day, and people were standing close, and I kept leaning away, and they just got closer, and I felt trapped. But neither of these two extremes of not attending to what's reality and over-attending to my gut are fully accurate. And I only realize it when I stop, and I breathe, and I pay attention to what's really going on around me, what I really know about how to deal with this coronavirus situation that I find myself in. So how do we ground ourselves to trust both our gut and our intellect in a situation like this, that is so out of control, an invisible danger? But there are things we can do that are in our control. And those are the things we have to pay attention to. Physical distancing, for instance, not social distancing. Social distancing means we stay away from other people, but we still need to stay in connection with them. Maybe we can't be with them person to person, but we can through phone calls, through media, through Zoom. And we need to stay connected. So we know we need the physical distance, but not the social distance. We know we need to wash our hands and sneeze into our elbows. What we don't need is to give in to fear, to give in to hoarding, to pull the covers over our heads and try to sleep this away for however many days or weeks this thing will last. And we need to ask in our own hearts, what is it that we need right now that will really help us get through this situation? What a healthy way, a spiritually, emotionally healthy way to help us get through this time of seeming scarcity and fear and disengagement and invisible threats. Now today I can't tell you exactly what you need to do, what will work for you. But I want to give you a little reassurance and maybe some ideas that might help you to figure out what works for you during this time. And I guess I'll emphasize more than anything is even though we are not able to be next to another person that we might love and care about, or community. We can't be in person with our community. We can still be in community. And you can still be in this community of the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Miami. It can still be part of your life if you let it intentionally be a part of your life. We're creative problem solvers. We will find ways to stay connected if we think about it. Phone calls, Zoom meetings, shared videos, sending emails. And I even heard someone the other day saying, I'm going to start sending snail mails again, writing letters to stay connected. We'll need to learn to connect to each other soul to soul rather than person to person, physical being to physical being. For now, we need to see each other through a screen or a window rather than across a room. For now, we need to hear each other's voices through a speaker rather than from mouth to ear. And really, we're still hearing each other's voices when we do that. It's just a different way. And we can do this. This week, for instance, one member called me and we set up a Zoom call for people who wanted to do art together. People got on this Zoom call, talked to each other, worked on art projects of all kinds together, seeing each other, sharing doodles with each other. We can do that. We can set up a Zoom for people that want to talk about science fiction, fantasy books, or science books. We can set up a Zoom call to talk about Unitarian Universalist history. Or just a Zoom call to be in community. To check in with one another. To let people know that we want to talk to them. See how they're doing. See their face. Hear their voice. I will tell you, as members of this congregation, if you want to set up a Zoom call, send me an email, call me on the phone. We'll set up a Zoom call and you can connect with your friends so you can see them face to face. Or do FaceTime on your iPhone. Find a way to stay connected. This is a brave new world, and with this new world there are new opportunities. We're finding new ways to stay connected, And obviously today this is new, this live streaming from an empty sanctuary. We are relearning how important it is to intentionally make time to stay connected. These are connections we should not lose, even when the world returns to some level of normalcy. Let's continue to find new ways to be connected with each other, to learn more about each other, to deepen our relationships with each other. Let us take what we learned from this time forward. It's also important during this time we find ways to have a healthy balance between intuition and rational evaluation of a situation. And I guess I would suggest to you that perhaps we can turn to our Unitarian Universalism as a walking stick for equilibrium, to look toward our principles and sources, our Unitarian Universalist principles and sources. Now, for those of you who are new, who don't know what I'm talking about, go to our webpage, uumiami.org, and scroll down, and you'll see all the principles there, the 7 principles. And what I'm suggesting at this point is pick one of those principles or look toward the sources, find one, reflect on it, think about it, consider how it might help you to maintain some equilibrium during this time when you're feeling out of control, unbalanced. The one I turn to is our first principle, affirming and promoting the inherent worth and dignity of every person. In this new COVID-19 reality, each person is reacting to it in a different way. And for that matter, my intuition and even my behavior is affected by this situation as well. And so how I read situations is influenced by this invisible threat. Each surface and person could be a threat to my health or even my life. And so each person is responding to that threat in a different way. How I see the situation, how you see the situation, how we see the situation is all different. But we still need to affirm the worth and dignity of every person. And we need to do it even though we feel like our life may be at threat by some invisible thing out there that we don't know if it will make us sick or kill us. This risk is there, but we cannot give up on affirming the worth and dignity of every person. So here's one way, specific way that this means I've changed my behavior. I'm looking at my boundaries. And I know I have my boundaries, you have your boundaries, other people have their boundaries. They're all dealing with the situation differently. For instance, my wife went into the pharmacy the other day, and there was this 35-foot strip of blue painter's tape on the floor. And every 6 feet was a cross of another piece of blue tape. It was so people could stay in line 6 feet away from each other while they were in the pharmacy, so that they could feel safe, knowing that they were being taken care of by this pharmacy. They had given them concrete way to be safe. But in most cases, there isn't a concrete way. In our social interactions with people, in the grocery store and other places, walking down the sidewalk. And so, what I'm saying, the way that my first principle calls to mind for me is I'm going to respect other people's boundaries, even though Some of their boundaries may be very irrational as far as I'm concerned, or not based on medical facts as we understand them right now. My friends, at a time of heightened anxiety and fear, it is no time to discuss with a person that them staying 20 feet away from you is irrational, or 3 feet away from you is dangerous. You take care of yourself, you maintain your boundaries, and you respect them for maintaining theirs. We can't discuss that calmly right now because people are anxious. Perhaps at some time in the future, when things have settled a little bit, people are a little less fragile, a little less fearful, we can sit down and have a calm conversation about what is real, what is rational boundaries. But right now, I'm choosing just to respect others and to let people know what my boundaries are. And that's how I'm going to affirm and promote the worth and dignity of people. And this brings to mind something for me. I was on a phone call yesterday with some members of the congregation, and we were talking about the virus. And one woman said, "How do I know if I'm doing enough to keep myself safe?" She's washing her hands, using alcohol swabs, cleaning off the doorknobs with alcohol, all the things that you would do, trying not to go out as much except to the grocery store, or to, if you have to get gas in your car. How do we know we're doing enough? Well, my friends, don't allow that question to sit in you and cause you anxiety and paralyze you with fear. Do what you can. Do what you know you need to do. And then pray or meditate or focus rationally on, this is enough. I'm doing what I can, and what I'm doing is enough for me today as I understand the situation. Find peace in your heart about that. If you dwell on it, if you let it eat you up, it will paralyze you. It will keep you from taking care of yourself. And that, my friends, you cannot do during times like this. Back to our first principle. One of the things about our first principle that is often overlooked is having worth and dignity means that you deserve to be taken care of. So take care of yourself. Do things that nurture your soul right now. Make time for exercise. Go outside and breathe some fresh air. Remember to eat healthy meals. Find joy in life, where in simplicity we may move at the speed of natural creatures and feel the earth's love beneath our feet, where step by step we may feel the movement of creation in our hearts. This time, my friends, is a time for us to reconnect with joy. The joy of watching a lizard cross the sidewalk. The joy of noticing the wind blowing the leaves in the trees. The joy of digging in the dirt and planting something. Of touching the petals on a plant, a flower, and feeling its softness and smelling the scent. And also, it's time for grounding, finding solace and peace in our souls. So, for instance, you might take time to walk a labyrinth. You can still come out to our property here and walk the labyrinth. This is still safe to come out and walk the labyrinth, to open yourself up and walk through a journey that helps ground you, helps you feel more at ease within yourself. There's certainly other things you can do. You could do meditation, prayer. You could do a finger labyrinth, for that matter. This is a time to reconnect with simplicity, with joys, with peace, with blessings, the blessings that are all around us all the time. It's a time to open your heart to all the things around you and not let COVID-19 dictate every aspect of your life. It gives you an opportunity to do things today that maybe you have felt too busy to do before. And my friends, our first principle is also about connection to others. We all deserve time with others, and they deserve time with us. And I will say this emphatically, you can reach out to anyone in this community that you need to at any time because you have worth and dignity. But remember, that person has worth and dignity too. We are all in different places right now with different needs, and we all need to stay connected to each other. We cannot let ourselves believe that we either don't need anyone to get through this, we can do it on our own. And we cannot let ourselves believe we are not worthy or important enough for anyone to give us the time that might help bring solace to our souls. I know it sounds like I'm preaching about this, and I am. It's so important that we stay connected and that you don't let your insecurities keep you from being connected, or your fears or your feelings that you can handle it keep you from being connected to others. My friends, this is a difficult time, but it's providing us opportunities. So let us not ignore these opportunities to be with each other in new and different ways, to find different connections with people maybe we didn't know we had. This congregation is not a building, it's the people and our connections with each other. And we might find that we're able to get closer to each other than we have before because of this time. Spend time with others. Let us deepen our relationships. I know it's already happening because people are doing all kinds of different things. We're calling all the members of this congregation. We're trying to find out how people are doing and what their needs are. We're the ones here that are saying yes to the opportunities to connect to life and to each other in whatever form we can. And let us keep that balance between our intuition and our rational understanding of life, because in times like this, when everything seems different, including our perceptions, and all of that can seem a little wonky, but we need to stay grounded in ourselves and with each other. I care about all of you and wish blessings and love to you. And I'm here to help. Actually, we're all here to help one another. Let joy fill our hearts and love center our actions as we move through this challenging time together. Amen.